Does it look like that? Oh, because it's so giant. That's why. World's largest fucking photo. Here we go. Oh, the monkey police. I forgot about the monkey police. Now I remember. I almost soft reset. Actually, almost muscle memory soft reset. Hey, Zessie. Oops, all Roserades. Don't give me another shiny Roserade. You know, it's cool and all, but, like... Oh, why does it say offline? I'm online on Twitch, right? Why does it say offline? Oh, there we go. A little loud, I would say. Banjo music a little loud. I looked up to get music ready for stream. I looked up relaxing banjo music on YouTube, and then I didn't get any Banjo-Kazooie results, and I was like looking at, I was like, What is this? I was like, oh, it's banjo music. It's just regular banjo music. Not Banjo-Kazooie music. I wasn't thinking, like, is YouTube going to interpret what I'm saying? Like, when I say banjo, you know, I think Banjo-Kazooie. That's just what... If I... In the context that I was using it in. Feels like Banjo-Kazooie, you know? It's kind of metal when people, like, play the banjo really well. Like, it's kind of sick. Like, I don't like banjo music. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way for banjo music. But, like, it would kind of be a sick instrument to play. You know? Because, like, what's the, you know, the devil went down to Georgia? What's that guy's name? Daniel? Is his name Daniel? Daniel Webster? The devil in Daniel Webster. Is that? That sounds right. Hello, what's up, gamer? Your name looks familiar. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure where. I've seen you before, though. I've seen your name. What's up, Knots? All these new chatters, what's going on? So the full odds of it, do you still play Borderlands these days? You know, unfortunately for the past year, I haven't, there's been some problems with me sitting up for too long, so I've dedicated that time to only shiny hunting. When we played Borderlands, we would only do it once a week too. I would start stream early on Mondays. So, but I haven't been doing that, so it's been a while. I plan on continuing Nemesis Invader whenever I'm able to sit up for longer. We'll probably play BL2 at some point, too. Yeah, we'll probably play it at some point, too. They added shiny weapons to 4. Yeah, I found that interesting. I had an idea for a mod of BL2 like that, but I was thinking that you actually give, like, the shiny... I don't know if they have a benefit in BL4, but I was thinking you could do, like... Give them, like, a really wacky benefit based on the manufacturer. Yeah, so when they first released them, they actually were pretty hard to find, but then they patched... Shortly after release, they did a patch and made them significantly more common. I think, like, 10 times more common or something. I think people were probably complaining. It's just aesthetic. Okay, yeah. I think that's for the best, too, for, like... At least from, like, the developer point of view. I get why they reduced the rarity, too, because they probably had people complaining about it. Honestly. Like, it's like, I don't think you can really complain about an aesthetic, but they made them more common, so. With that said, I had an idea for actually making a mod for BL2, where you can get any unique with an alternate skin, and I was thinking you could just use the existing like gemstone skins or something, or maybe there's some other texture skin in the game you could use. But I was thinking you could just use the gemstone textures and then make it like I don't know. Kind of depends on the item, but like you could vary it between items. Like the harder it is to farm an item, the easier or like the more likely it is to be like a shiny weapon. I farmed Biobulkhead for like 20 times and I got it. Yeah, if I had to guess, it's probably like a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 20 at this point, but I could be wrong. I think it started out as like a 1 in 100 or something, and then they made it a lot more common. Yeah, and so you have a unique weapon skin that can drop on a unique. So like something like the Unkept Herald, like it'll be like a 1 in 100 heralds, right? But then something that like takes a little bit longer to farm, like I don't know, the Sham or something. Just an example. I probably wouldn't do shield skins, but you get the idea. But like if it was Sham, you know, obviously it takes a long time to get a drop. It takes 2 minutes to get a drop. So make that like a 1 in 10 or something, or a 1 in 20, whatever. And like kind of scale it relative to how long it takes to farm the item, so that like it's reasonable enough to try to get a perfect shiny, you know, but also kind of ridiculous to where most people aren't going to go farm every single one, you know. Or that would be quite the undertaking if you wanted to farm every single one perfect. But then also I was thinking that you could get a benefit from it, and it would be something like really wacky based on the manufacturer. So like for example with like Tor, have it increase damage by like, I don't know, 400% or something, but then just make the accuracy like terrible or something, or like make the fire rate bad. I know you can double shot and stuff, so it would be exploitable, but like that's something could be cool. You know, to have like a flacker that did double damage but had like a 0.1 fire rate or something. It could be interesting. Oh. Monkey. Yeah, like Vladoff, like double fire rate, but then make the damage a bit lower, but like make it overall a net benefit, you know? Gage would instantly down herself with that, true. Non-gauge weapon for sure. But yeah, and I think it's very reasonable to make things like stupid rare if they're not necessary for a playthrough, or if they aren't like extremely compelling to use on a character. Like, and I think that BL2 did a really great job at like making most of the items that most people would want to use in a playthrough to like just get through things. Most of those items are very accessibly farmable. Like it's not that hard to get pretty much everything you need for a playthrough. But there's a bunch of items that are like not that good that you can farm really rare versions of. And then there's a lot of instances where it's like, oh, well, you can get like this weapon. You're not going to get it perfect, but you can get this weapon in like 10 minutes. But if you want it perfect, then or if you want a good one, maybe it'll take you an hour. If you want it perfect, it'll take you like 200 hours. Like, I think that's a very reasonable balance. Like, double Mallow on B isn't even perfect for some characters. Like, it kind of depends. It's the most damage, but like by a decent margin. But it's still like, oh, you could just take like TD Orientation or double TD or something like that. Or like Mallow on TD or whatever, you know, and you'd be fine. But yeah, if you want to go for double Mallow on B, you can drop 200 hours on it. I saw someone did a shiny mod based off BL4 in BL2. I'm going to sue them. Yeah, I saw Joel's playing that. Absolute monkey please moment. What's up, son? Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I like the idea of the shiny mod, but also I think having the alternate, like having the gemstone skin and then having like it make weapons really wacky goofy, I think that'd be cool. Yeah, would have to like kind of sit down and test and see like what felt right with each manufacturer, you know, and wouldn't want to make anything like too ridiculously overpowered, but like if you get a herald, like a depot with a matching grip, and you get the shiny skin on it, do I want it overall to perform better because someone spent, you know, 10 hours getting it? Like, yeah. And I think that's fine. I think that's okay. Worst items to farm aren't always great. Chopper's a pain, but nobody wants to farm triple O. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. I think you're talking about the Twister, but I get what you're saying. Because the Chopper is Deciduous or whatever his name. Is that his name, Deciduous? The giant spider? I actually farmed for a perfect Chopper, but after summoning the raid boss and like having to use a lady fist to like break the pimple things on him like 3 times, I was like appropriate with the shirt. I was like, time out. Not doing it. I didn't want to do triple O for the Twister either. I was like, a little involved. Hello. Did you both farms at the same time? I guess that could be more efficient. Yeah, you could like make that work. Yeah, I didn't think of that. But yeah, like probably at some point I'll like, if we get the Nemesis Invader, like I'd probably start playing BL2 on Mondays. We do like BL2 Mondays, and we probably do like some stupid farm nobody's ever done, like Perfect Black Hole or something. Okay. And you know, on something like the Twister where you can like 1-drop every hour or something, it would be like a 1 in 5 to be shiny. Like, you know, make it reasonable to get any particular item as shiny in the game. It doesn't have to be like exact, right? Because some items are just going to take longer to get, and you don't want to be like, oh, okay, well, we'll just guarantee it or whatever. But, you know, at least make it reasonably comparable and make it to where it's not ridiculous and stupid to farm it on any particular item, but it's certainly going to be like, you know, 10 times the time commitment that you would spend getting a perfect version of it, right? You spend like 30 minutes on like a perfect Deepa, I think then 6 hours would be very reasonable for a perfect Deepa with shiny at that point. I think where developers get scared of having farms or hunts like that is that they think like, oh, well, if we make like that perfect version of it too strong, then we're kind of requiring someone spend all this time and they're just going to drop our game. They're not going to play our game. They're not going to recommend it. They're not going to buy the next game. Like, that's the thought process, I think, at least. But I think there's a balance to be found, and I think BL2 did that really well. Like, think of all the items like the Deepa, like it's so, or just the Herald. It's so accessible. Like, it's a very easy, quick farm. The Fastball, they're like right next to each other, and they're 2 of the best items in the game on most characters, right? And like, it's pretty easy to get a B. There's good B farms. And like B is important for a lot of characters, and then like Sandhawk's not horrible. It is important on a lot of characters, and you do want to get a good version, so it's a bit more of a commitment, but it's one of the fastest like actual checks in the game for an item. Like you save quit, and then you're standing in front of the person who, and it's a mission reward. So like it's very reasonable to get a close enough to perfect one. Like it's like a couple hours maybe with the element that you want on average, and it's like 6 hours to get like a perfect one or something. I never did that hunt when we played BL2. I thought about it, but then I just didn't. It was on the list. Actually, I was so sad that the chopper was like not good in BL2 because it was like my favorite weapon in BL1, and I farmed that perfect on Roland, and it took me like 40 hours, and it's one of the first like perfect farms I ever did. Okay. Actually, I should say I wasn't even going for like perfect chopper. I mean, it's inconsequential. Like the stock has basically zero impact on the performance of the chopper. And scope, like, I don't think you want a scope, and I didn't get a scope. But in any case, because the stock is irrelevant, I would say the one I got is perfect, but it was like stock 4 or something, whatever. But just AR body barrel 5. That's the important part. But yeah, it took me 40 hours for AR body barrel 5 on Roland. It was so worth it too, because I wasn't even farming it because I was like, I just want a perfect chopper. It's the fastest thing to kill Nox with on Roland, like by far. It just melts him. And we were doing a lot of armory too on Roland, so I was like, well, if we're gonna be killing Nox every once in a while, you know, when we drive to the armory, might as well do it slightly faster. Spend 40 hours so that I can save, like, cumulatively, like, maybe a few minutes lifetime. Worth it. That's what we call stonks. I like the idea of hybrids in BL1. I think they should have returned as an independent rarity. Yeah, I don't know how they would have implemented it, and I think they were an accident initially. Like, the developers said, I think in like some interview or something, they were like, oh, we knew they were there, but they weren't intentional, you know, and so we didn't remove them. They removed the Dove Hornet for some reason. You couldn't get the Dove Hornet in the remaster. I don't know. It's probably an accident, because like, why would you just mess that one up but not mess any of the other ones up? I don't know, but in any case, I think even though it was an accident and they were just aware of it, I think leaving it in for one while being aware of it, I think makes it an intended feature. But then second thing, I think you should embrace that kind of thing. And yeah, they should have had hybrids. That would have been a great way to like add a flair of rarity to some items that are like just pretty quick farms, you know? Jesus. That was like right next to my house. That jump scared me. We might lose power. If stream ends, that's why. Double penetrating unkempt invader. Imagine a Deepa that when you ADS, it empties the mag instantly. Basically like a multi-shot. Pretty good. I think what they would have to do is make it to where dedicated drops could have certain, like, could double up on certain unique parts that makes it a unique weapon. And only do it for some that make sense for each unique. Another one. 3, 2, 1. You guys can't hear it. I'm about to download a fucking video because, like, holy shit. I think statistically it's like 50% we lose power. Hey, what's up, Mudkip? Okay. Maybe a Wolfie video. What's his last tournament video? I entered a tournament. Oh, it's already in my downloads. I have videos downloaded. I just have the Wolfie video downloaded. That's funny. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours. Like that work. You can hear the thunder, yeah. Another much hunting Togepi. Me and I just make up stats, yeah. I'm telling you, lightning's hitting like right next to us. Like it is probably gonna hit a pole or a tree. I'd give it about a 50% chance that happens. But the thing is, people will be like, 50%, 1 and 2, that's a pretty high chance. But you only get one chance at it. Now, it's a 50% chance every 5 minutes. It's a different story. The funniest thing happened, chat. Someone, I was having trouble sleeping, and it was like 4 a.m. And someone commented on the video this like really long comment that was like very, I don't know, like conceited. Like it was saying like all this debate me bro kind of stuff, you know, like you like weak rhetoric and like shit like that, you know, like they'd watched too many, I don't know, too many videos about someone who debates or something, you know. And the comment was really dumb. It was like they didn't watch the video. Like they were saying like objectively 1 in 8192 is more rare than 1 in 4096, right? And it's like, technically, if that's the only metric you have to go off of, technically yes, but it's just not the only metric we have to go off of in practicality, right? Rarity is not just how big the number is, it's how often the number happens, right? Rarity is the frequency of something, right? And the frequency is both the chances of it happening and the frequency of chances happening. And I talked about that in the video, and that's not really an argument. It's not an argument that if something's 1 in 10,000, it automatically is rare, right? Like, there are things that are 1 in 10,000 that, because you get so many chances at it, it's not that rare. It's very common, right? It happens all the time because you get so many chances at it. So there was that, and then they said, like, they said that in the video that I claimed that all 1 in 8192 hunts took a certain amount of time, and I didn't. I specifically said it takes variable amounts of time, but it's like they ignored that part. And there was a part where I said, like, oh, Kyogre in Pokemon Sapphire, as an example, takes 55 hours. And I think they thought that was me saying every 1 in 8192 hunt takes 55 hours. But the problem is, I gave other examples of other hunts in the video that were 1 in 8192. And I gave different measurements of time because they had faster or slower encounters. And at the end of the comment, they were like, huh, maybe if you reply to this comment, I'll come back and look at it. But for now, it's not worth my time. And then I commented and just like very basically addressed like everything that they said, like in a pretty short way. I was like, yes, the number is not just the rarity. That's not the only thing that makes something rare. It's just not. And then I addressed everything else, and at the end I was like, it's kind of like you just didn't watch the video, I'm not sure. And within 2 minutes they just deleted the whole ass comment. I was very surprised. I thought that they would like double down or something, because like the way they were talking was so confident. Actually, the first part of the comment said 46 minutes just to be completely wrong about everything. That was the start of the comment. That's how confident they were that they had like a gotcha. They're stupid. I knew nothing about shiny hunting. It was clear and easy to understand. Yeah, I think it's just like, it's very hard for people to overcome their biases, and within the shiny hunting community, there's a lot of bad ideas that get passed off as just like common sense, you know? Like, of course, 1 in 8192 is more rare than 1 in 4096. The number's bigger. Bigger number equals better. Come on. I don't know where this whole, like, I've never heard people say this, and it's only in response to the video. People are like, nobody cares about how long it took you to get a shiny. And it's like, go on Twitter right now, and when someone like says that it took them a long time to do a hunt, people get more excited about it. It's just how it works. People are just more excited about it, right? If someone's like, oh, I got a Dratini from the game corner, right? And then someone's like, oh, I got roaming Entei. People get more excited for the roaming Entei. What is the difference between them? Is it that you can buy 5 Dratinis in 40 seconds, giving it an average of 8 seconds per encounter? And the Entei, it takes like, on average, to see an Entei and a Raikou, it takes 2 minutes and 15 seconds to see 2 Pokemon? Is it maybe that overall it takes longer per encounter? And so therefore, in order to get it under those conditions, it takes longer. Is that why people are more excited? I think it is. But there's this idea that's like, oh, just the number of encounters you did is the only thing that people care about. And it's like, why would you care about like how many encounters it, like, I get that it helps you understand like the context of the hunt, like, oh wow, you went over odds and stuff like that, but it doesn't really give you an accurate idea of like what their experience was like. Because like I said, if you do game corner Dratini and someone doesn't know how long game corner takes specifically, they're not going to know any different than if somebody got like a 40% Dratini in the wild. They don't have any context for that, right? But also, yes, you can kind of get a night, like you can take an educated guess at the time if you know something about the game or that hunt. My brain's not working. It just abruptly stopped working. Oh, it's weird to like someone to be like, oh, I got this in 10,000 encounters, and to be like, I care, like I respect you more because that took so long, right? Like, that's weird. Like, what? Because if someone has done like 100 hunts, they're gonna have hunts that were under and over and everything like that. And most people, I would say, who are regular shiny hunters will do a hunt until they get what they're looking for. They might put something on pause or something or whatever, right? Come back to it, but like they'll usually finish it. So like that number is just purely contingent on luck. It's not really something to like be like, oh wow, that's a commendable thing that you did. I think it's not even really commendable to just like, you know, me spending 250 hours on this. I don't think there's any commendation in that. Let's be real. But like, if you're gonna commend somebody for something, I think it would be the fact that they would initially commit to something that they know would take a long time, regardless of how long it ended up taking them. That part's pretty irrelevant, right? Like, it's cool to know in the end, but it's irrelevant to like that person's willingness to do the hunt. So like if someone sits down and they're like, okay, Mewtwo and Heart Soul Silver. So the encounters take 22 seconds on average. And on average, it's going to take 8,000 encounters. So if I do the math, okay, it's going to take me about 51 hours. So you sit down and you start that hunt and you're like, I'm willing to put in at least 51 hours. But, you know, if I go double over odds, that's a 1 in 6 chance. I'm happy to do over 100 hours. Or if I go triple over odds, I'm happy to go 150, right? Anything beyond triple is like pretty uncommon. It's already a 1 in 20 to go triple, and then it's like in the hundreds to go quadruple. But whatever the case, just to sit down and say, I'm willing to do this until I get it, I think is the thing that is important. Because like, I can sit down and be like, oh, I'm willing to do this hunt, right? And start a hunt and get it in like 200 encounters. And then maybe I would have quit at 400 or 500 or whatever, right? Who knows? But to just sit down and be like, okay, this hunt takes this long, and I'm gonna do it no matter how long it takes. I think there's a takeaway from that. Yeah, that person deleting their comment in like 2 minutes made me feel like pretty good. I don't know. And like I said, it was just very surprising they deleted it because like they were so confident. And I feel like if you're going to feel so confident in your arguments, you at least have to like look at what I could possibly say in response, or like at least look at the video, which was my argument was the video, right? So at least like pay attention to the video so that you can accurately debunk my points, right? Because I wasn't 100% perfect on everything. I think there's some discrepancies, there's some subjective parts of it. There's some parts where I like kind of make an assumption and I don't explain why. Do I think that that is a correct assumption? Yes, but like I don't necessarily explain why. Like there's room for improvement there. I don't think it makes the argument fall apart, but I accidentally found a shiny PANPOUR. Yay, nice. Hey, good stuff. But yeah, like if you're gonna be that like confident in your argument, I feel you at least have to pay attention to the video, you know. But I think people get a little bit like emotionally blinded when I like during certain sections, and I think they start typing their comment. Like there's a lot of comments that I can tell people wrote at like the 14-minute mark or like the 20-minute mark, right, and didn't watch the rest. It's a really disappointing shiny. You know, I think in 3D it's a lot worse. I think it looks good in 2D. I think the color change is nice, but in 3D the more subtle shinies get a lot harder to tell. So also teal, kind of cyan vibes. This is more teal, but that's like I like that color a lot. So the thing too, and I just forget that people don't do this, but if I come up with like an argument about something or I have an opinion about something, I go through in my head every potential objection that I can think of that somebody would have. And like I'm not going to be perfect at doing that because like there's just things I'm not going to think of, there's perspectives I'm not going to have, but I at least try to like see if there's any like problems with my argument, and I try to cover for those if I make an argument about something, right? And I kind of forget that a lot of other people don't do that. Like they kind of just form their opinion and then they feel strongly about it kind of for no reason, and then that's their argument that they present. You know, there's not a lot of like, what if someone said this? Well, what if they brought up this? That's why I had the Q&A at the end, because I knew there was going to be these little things people would latch onto, and I wanted to shut it down, right? So much of the comment section would be like, people's comments would have been different if they watched the Q&A at the end. Because I didn't want to dwell on too many things, but the Q&A was like, hey, you don't need to watch this part of the video, but like, here's me addressing, like, if you're going to bring this up, here's me addressing it, you know? I forget the evolution's name. Yeah, Simipour. And yeah, their shiny's nice. It's like a purpley kind of color. I like it. I actually like it more than PANPOUR, so it works out. Yeah, if I'm gonna have like a strong opinion about something, I want to think of like, and it's not even that I want to make the opinion and then find problems with it. I want to form my opinion by thinking about the problems with my initial idea, right? So someone would be like, here's like a moral or ethical problem, and I think like, okay, well, here's my knee-jerk reaction. And then I'll think like, okay, is that defendable? Like, what would somebody say to that? What are some arguments somebody could come up with that? What are some holes that someone could poke in that, right? And then I'll be like, oh, this makes sense. So actually my opinion probably should be this, right? And then it's like, oh, well, probably someone would say this, so actually this, and that's, you know, that's how you refine your opinion about something. But I think a lot of people just, they feel a certain way about something, and then it's just like the knee-jerk. And I think that comment was a knee-jerk, and I think as soon as I commented and pointed out like how obvious my responses were, I was like, yeah, I said this in the video, and you didn't address it, and I said this in the video, and you didn't address it. I think they kind of realized it was a knee-jerk, emotional comment. I also think they didn't think I would respond at 4 a.m. You know, I don't know what time zone they're in, but it was like at the earliest, it was like 1 a.m. in California or something, you know? So I think they maybe weren't expecting me to respond, but I couldn't sleep and I saw the comment pop up. And every time I see someone in the first sentence say 46 minutes, I know they're going to be like, 46 minutes of time waste because you're wrong and dumb. Like, I know they're always going to try to dunk on it. I think anytime someone doesn't disagree with the video, they look at the length of the video, and if it's like kind of long, they're like, 2 hours just to be wrong? Like, come on, guys, we got to come up with something else. Doing an active shiny hunt for Registeel. Hey. He's very minty. Okay. I think the problem is, I think a lot of people like have an ego about being right about things like very quickly, about their knee jerks being correct. And I think the feeling of their knee jerk being wrong or like completely wrong isn't a good feeling to a lot of people. It wasn't when I was younger. Like when I was younger, someone would say something and I would have an emotional response and I'd be like, that's not true. And then I wouldn't like immediately respond to that, but I would be like, I need to find a way to defend this emotional reaction, because like if not, then then I have a problem. Like if my knee-jerk reaction isn't right initially, I have a problem. And I just, most people's knee jerks on most things are never going to be even close to correct. That's the problem, right? Or actually, it's not even a problem. That's a good thing, because that means that if you have a knee-jerk reaction to something and you're wrong about it, that's normal. That's like expected. Like it would be weird if you always just like hear something and then instantly have like the perfect answer to it. You know, that would be weird. There's nobody really like that. I don't think that's how people really work. Is Watchrock a good Pokemon? I've never used it. Well, it has Illuminate, which doubles encounter rate. It's pretty fast and has a decent attack stat. It's an okay Pokemon to kind of get you through the early playthrough, mid playthrough. It's solid. I mainly have it just because I was already using it for Illuminate, and it isn't a very heavy Pokemon, so the screen shake isn't very bad, and it doesn't have a very long cry, so it's a pretty good Pokemon. It's not the perfect Pokemon, but it's a pretty good Pokemon to do encounters with because it saves you a bit of time. It's pretty fast, so it outspeeds everything too, even if you're not like way over leveled, and so you don't have to worry about not being able to run away from Pokemon, which we need to be able to do every single time. It's especially important if you're repel tricking that you have a fast Pokemon, because your lead Pokemon, obviously not the one that's knocked out, but the one that you're sending out as a lead, is the one that has to be the same level, or like the level to repel trick with. And so if you're the same level as the Pokemon, you have to be like a pretty fast Pokemon to outspeed everything in a certain area, you know, especially if you don't have like perfect IVs or you're not EV trained or something like that. So having a good natural speed stat is pretty important. And Watchrock's pretty fast, I think. It's like 80, 90. Not amazing. How fast? Oh, it's only 77. It's not that fast. Don't use Watchrock. That's not bad. I mean, if you just EV train it a little bit, it's fine. But might not be the best repel trick lead. Yeah, too. I think that feeling of like your knee jerk being wrong to a lot of people is like a very bad, devastating feeling to them, and they can't get past it. And I think part of being an adult is getting past that, right? I think we're all still like, it's very hard for anybody to be perfectly mature. Like, I think everybody has immature responses to things. I think everybody has immature knee-jerk reactions to things. And I think the mature thing is going, oh, wait, it's okay that that was wrong. Let me construct a more rational feeling behind that, rather than just like whatever my initial thought is on something that has to be correct and I'm going to defend it to the end of the world. Rather than that, how about I just sit back and I go, okay, well, maybe there is a problem with that. Let me think about it. I'm gonna take a stab at one of your shiny takes. Give me a second to gather my thoughts. Okay. Are you doing all of Unova or just the monkeys? You know, I don't have any specific clear goal in mind. Like, I'm just kind of going through, you know, the game bit by bit, and we go to a new area and I see a Pokemon I want to hunt, and we do it. And then I'll just like kind of go back and look at any hunts I miss and go do those and whatever. I think most of the time I'll want to hunt like most Pokemon from most games most of the time, probably like 60 to 70% of the game, like ultimately, but I just don't have a clear like structured goal in mind. Like, I don't want a shiny dex, I don't want a living dex, there's not a particular list of Pokemon I want. I kind of just like wing it, you know. I do it in the moment. I usually don't know what hunt I'm going to do next most of the time. Some of the time I just already know what's ahead. You know, I'm like, oh, on the next route, there's this Pokemon I have to hunt that, I want to do it. But otherwise, I like kind of being surprised. I like being surprised by, you know, oh, I get to a new route and I'm like, oh, wow, this Pokemon's on this route. And it's like, oh, it's 5%. And then, oh, what if I Lucky Power 2? And then I Repel Trick. And then, oh, it's 80%, and then oh it's a 30%, but like, okay, so I have to phase 3 times and I do the math, and you know, it's just kind of fun to do it that way. I don't like to plan too far ahead. I think it kind of takes the excitement out of things. Depends on what it is though, you know. You value time much more than encounters. I've already said things I don't care how lucky you get. You point out the encounters by themselves. Leave a lot of info out about any given hunt. I don't care how lucky you get. Yep. Well, it's not to say that I don't care how lucky someone gets. It just doesn't change how I look at them choosing to do that hunt. Because the thing is that they probably would have still kept doing the hunt. If they get it at 1,000, right? They probably would have still kept going. And if they got it at 3,000 or 5,000, 8,000, it doesn't change the fact that they were like, I know how long this probably is going to take, and I'm going to do it, you know. Now, if someone's first shiny hunt and they choose to do a 1 billion hour hunt, and then obviously they're not going to follow through on it, that's kind of different, but like, you kind of know somebody's going to follow through if they're consistent, so I think it's pretty easy to judge. With that said, it's not about time as opposed to encounters, it's more average time when it comes to a hunt, as opposed to encounters. With that said, too, there's a correlation between encounters and time commitment, so I think that you have to keep that in mind. And it's what I mean to say is that if someone just says, I did 3,000 encounters for a shiny, I just have no idea what is involved in that. Like, was it in Scarlet and Violet? Like, probably took them, like, maybe an hour. Or was it in DA? I don't know how long it takes in that game, but was it in DA? You know, you probably get encounters pretty quick. So I'm going to look at it differently. It doesn't mean I'm obviously looking down on it, but it's like, I'm going to look at it differently. I'm going to be like, okay, all right, you've had a different experience. Whereas if they did 3,000 encounters in I don't know, Safari Zone. Okay, that's pretty fast. But you know, not anything crazy. You know, and they're like, the best thing somebody could do also is they could give the number of encounters and the time. That would be the best way of communicating without like getting into too much detail. But with just time, if you know how long each encounter takes, then you can extrapolate how many encounters it was, assuming someone is timekeeping accurately. I was thinking, see, I was thinking of like what you could say. See, that's what I do with takes. So you got to just look at it, look at where the arguments that people could make are. I think that generally time is going to give someone, if you could only give them one metric, time is going to give someone a better representation of the experience that you went through. Although giving time and encounters is the best way to communicate that in the shortest way possible. So. And I don't keep exact track of encounters, of course, but I'm able to figure out how many encounters we've done within a reasonable margin, to the point where any difference is negligible and inconsequential to reflecting the experience that I had doing the hunt. It's interesting. Most of the full odds community is very specifically against timekeeping, and they don't even like, if you keep track of encounters and time, sometimes you'll still potentially receive criticism. I don't think it's as much as if you just keep track of time and then you use time to extrapolate how many encounters you do. Although I will say they feel that way for, I think, a very good reason, and I understand. I just think that when they judge that I'm using time, they are making an assumption that is incorrect. And that assumption is that I am not accurate with my timekeeping. The reason that they think that, the reason they assume that, is because in shiny hunting, when you have new players, they very often exaggerate with time and don't timekeep correctly. So they are very loosey-goosey with timekeeping, and they don't want it to accurately also represent how many encounters they did. I do. I want to be able to calculate it and be within like a very close margin of error, you know, like a 2 or 3%, which I probably am a vast majority of the time. And it's like, it would be really easy for me to just like make people happy by just like setting up a auto counter or whatever. One, I mean, it wouldn't be that easy. It's kind of annoying. You have to like take a screenshot and like put it into the program, and like you have to keep track of all these different hunts, and like I have to switch it in the encounter counter every time, and it's just like, I just don't feel the need to do that because I'm more than accurate enough with timekeeping. I think that actually a regular in the chat who has manually counted and kept track of their time, shows that if you play efficiently, timekeeping is very, very efficient. Scarm, if you look at his data, like spreadsheets and stuff, is very consistent at doing nearly the same exact amount of encounters every hour. Like on the Paris hunt, it was like 207, 212, 210, 212, 207, right? But I think a vast majority of the time, if you see someone timekeeping and they're posting like they got a shiny on Reddit or something, or they come into the stream and they're like, oh, this shiny took me this long, vast majority of people are going to give you a incorrect number that is very likely exaggerated. Like I had someone coming into the stream and they were like, oh, it took me 5 years to get Ho-Oh in Heart Gold Soul Silver, right? And it was like, oh, okay, well, you know, 5 years isn't really a great metric to go by, right? So how many encounters do you have a guess? And they're like, you know, no idea. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, how many hours a day were you doing it, right? And they were like, oh, I was doing at least 2 hours a day, right? And so, okay, so that's like 700 hours a year, and you did it for 5 years. And they're like, yeah. And so if you do the math on that, they're saying that they spent 3,500 hours on a shiny that on average should take like, I think it's like 60 hours with the cutscene. And so essentially they went like 600 times over odds or something, or 60 times over odds, I'm sorry. Yeah, they went like 60 times over odds. And it's like, I think something's wrong here. Going 12 times over odds is like the statistical limit to where anything really beyond like 11 times odds, I think it was, or 12 times odds, it starts to become like dream luck. You know, like that didn't happen. Like it's not that it didn't happen because it's not possible. It's that it's so improbable that it's impossible. Hey, what's up, Boons? Thank you for 19 months, Gamer. It doesn't feel like it's been 19 months. It doesn't feel like it. I need a sparkly though. 36.63. I need a sparkly. We'll be right back. We do walk away. I got a pee too, so we'll take an extra minute. Boom. Okay. With my timekeeping, by the way, so for one, I'm very, like, I would say efficient. Like, there's very little downtime between my encounters. For most of the stream, I'm at, I would say, pretty much a perfect pace. With that said, I make mistakes. Sometimes there's a little bit of time loss. I account for that when I look at the average. So I account for that just a little bit by rounding up the average just a little bit. So something's like, oh, it's 13.5 seconds per encounter. I take it up to 14 just because, like, sample bias. Like, I'm probably not going to use like a sample with a mistake in it to calculate the time. So because of occasional mistakes, yeah, that kind of accounts for it. For someone who doesn't know how accurately you keep time, it'd be helpful for them to get a full understanding. Yeah, with that said, I think assuming that I'm doing it incorrectly and saying, like, you can't be accurate with timekeeping, I think that would be a mistake. Being curious as opposed to judgmental. Quote Ted Lasso. Did you get the Me Too? No. Yeah, no. Still working on that. We do that on Mondays, and we did it this weekend, of course. Like, weekend's kind of free for all, just whatever I feel like. And then we do Mondays, but no luck. Oh, yeah, but so yeah, I account for any inefficiencies in my gameplay with the just a little roundup. That should more than cover it. And then I obviously get up to pee and stuff like that. And there are some times where like I'll check something or put a sprite on the screen or whatever. Because of that, usually I'll stream for about like 5 to 10 minutes longer than the like next hour mark. So like, for example, tonight, I'll probably stream for about 2 hours and like 5 minutes, unless something makes me like delay a bit, you know, and at which point I'll do like 2:10 probably. And that means that I can just assume that we did about 2 hours of solid hunting with a little bit of rounding up, and then accounting for downtime. Overall, it'll average out. Now, there are going to be some days where where like I'm overcompensating, and then there's going to be some days where I'm undercompensating, and it will average out to the point where if right now I calculate how many encounters we've done based on our time commitment, I'm probably going to be, for most hunts, within like 100 or so, I would say. With that said, the longer a hunt goes on, the higher the chances of me like being a little bit less accurate. But the larger scale the hunt, the less consequential it is. So when it comes to the overall like statistical number of how many encounters I did, the less consequential it is. And also, that just means that there's a higher chance that I go off the rails. Or actually, I'm sorry, if I am off the rails, it's probably more significantly when it comes to my timekeeping. But I'm probably, like, pretty close with this hunt even. This is the hunt that we have the second most time on. It's very easy to calculate it, too. So we've done an hour today, and then we're at 249, so we'll say 250. And so we'll pull up the calculator. And so we just do 250 divided by 50. So 5 times 8192. So we're at about 41,000 encounters, roughly. Now, if I was at like 40,500 or like 41,200, is that really that substantial? No, not really. But I'm probably within a couple hundred of that if I had to guess. I think the thing people forget, too, is that they're like, oh, well, with time you can lie. And it's like, you can lie with encounters, too. You can just lie. Someone could go on Reddit. On Reddit, I see all the time people like, oh, it took me 1 billion encounters for this. And it's like, you say that an awful lot. You know, every time someone gets a shiny, they're like, yeah, it took me 50,000 for this. And then they get 1 billion upvotes. Like, but someone goes on and they're like, oh yeah, it took me 200 hours. I think it was maybe like 20,000 encounters. They're like, nope. You didn't track the exact number. But yes, people lie with time all the time. Or I think it's sometimes they just don't even get how much they're exaggerating. And so I kind of understand the skepticism about time. But I think that should only be if someone's a stranger, right? I think I can be trusted. With that, at least, right? You don't have to put your life in my hands, but, like, you can be like, oh, yeah, he's probably pretty accurate. It sounds like he knows, to a certain degree, what he's doing. Which I do. God, this water sucks. I didn't even want to drink the last two. I have more stuff than normal in my fridge, and so I can't put all my waters in there. And I chose to just, like, only put a couple of varieties in there, so I've just been drinking a couple. And then I have the Mason Perriers in the back, just, like, hiding. And I was like, okay, I drink just these two waters, like, all day today. Like, I gotta drink a different one. This sucks, dude. This is not good. This is a bad sparkling water. It's not the worst I've had. I think that Bellini one was worse. Like, I thought about just throwing the Bellini one from Bubbly away. That one was really bad. Schweppes. I've only seen the Schweppes in like the like tonic water section. Or like, I guess club soda section too. It's like different than the sparkling water section. I don't really look at it. But I wouldn't want any kind of sodium in my water. Sodium is my enemy right now. I've discovered. Okay. Schweppes doesn't have sodium that I'm drinking. I might have to take a look then. I might have to look at the Schweppes. Also, I wouldn't want to drink tonic water because I checked, and if you drank 4 servings of tonic water, like, you would, like, it's bad for you. It's, like, very bad for you. Like, I'm actually kind of having trouble understanding why it exists. Apparently quinine is not good for you in general, but also, like, you start getting into, like, a make you sick dose pretty quickly. Oh, yeah, we did talk about it before. The FDA only allows 83 parts per million in tonic water. It gives you synchonism, nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, diarrhea, headaches, confusion, dizziness, blurred, ringing in the ears. It can cause thrombocytopenia. Amy, what's that? Amy knows medical shit sometimes. Yeah, that just makes me not want to consume it at all. Like, I get like, oh, the dose makes the poison, but the dose being so close to the poison, it just makes me feel like you shouldn't consume something. Like, being like, oh yeah, you can have one of those, but if you eat 2, you could die. Or you drink 2, you could die. It's like, kind of sus. Even saying, oh yeah, just don't drink 4 of them or you might die. Like, that's like, 1 is too many at that point, you know? Like, I get like, oh yeah, water's good for you, but if you drink like 4 liters in 10 minutes, like, you'll probably die. It's like, dose makes the poison, and it's like, yeah, but like, usually someone drinks like a liter of water over the course of like a couple hours, you know? And it's like a lot. I think it's more than 4 liters that you would need to consume anyways, but you get the idea. Who like makes like sparkling water and puts sugar in it, and they're like, you know what this could use? Poison. Like, there's other bitter things out there. You just use something else that's bitter. Like, it doesn't need to be that. It's like, oh, this is arsenic water. Yeah. No, just don't drink 3 of them. But it's good. It tastes a little bitter. It tastes a little bit like almonds. Is that arsenic or is that the other thing? What's the thing that smells like almonds? There's something that smells like almonds. I don't remember if it's arsenic or there's another almond poison. Cyanide, that's it. It's the other one. Yeah, there's just a little bit of cyanide in this water. Don't worry about it smelling like almonds. It makes it taste like almonds, actually. Just don't drink 1.7 of them. Thank you for the luck boots. I need it. I need it if we're gonna get this monkey at half odds. Okay, that looked funny for a second in my peripheral. I want a shiny Leavanny. I think it's kind of a sick shiny. It's right there. It's over there. On Twitch, at least. Lilligant has a great shiny, too. I want a Lilligant and a Leavanny. Would I prefer that shiny monkey just shows up right here, right now, and then we can get Leavanny's Prevo somewhere and evolve it? And same with Lilligant? Yeah. prefer that. Would I be mad if we got Leavanny and Lilligan and then Monkey? Be alright with it. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Twitch released a new global emote apparently. I choose to believe they're shiny Dorito haters. They hate the shiny Dorito. They're jealous of it. They're jealous of it. They hate it because they ain't it. They hate us because they ain't us. Wait. Wait, yeah, there we go. Gotta catch the light just right. See how shiny the Dorito is. Oh, do you get Panpour or do I get Farfetch'd first? I think you get Farfetch'd first. That's my prediction. I think we go over odds for this. That's my prediction. Getting it under odds would be nice, and like of all the hunts to go over odds, a 500-hour one that's very daunting. But I'm ready. I'm ready. We could just get it right now though. We've been getting very few monkeys tonight though. I know because I haven't said monkey that much, and I instinctively say monkey every time blue monkey's on screen. Not this one. It's not blue monkey. I feel like I'm going over odds because I was dumb enough to do a 500-hour. It's my first one. No! No! No. Nor. That'd be crazy. That'd be a little wacky goofy. You sort of like the YouTube stream before switching to Twitch chat? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just realized that I don't have the shiny hunting thing. Text. Where'd text go? Out there. Here we go. Monkey down a little bit. Is that it for the music? That was it for the Banjo Kazooie. Have you gone triple over odds before? I've gone 6 times over odds. We went 6 times over odds for Ghastly. This is my second hunt I ever did. And then were we 6 for Whooper? I have it right here. 362, 66. Or yeah, we went 6 times for Whooper. That was I should say the Ghastly was just raw. I didn't get a shiny for, actually it was 60,000 encounters, but 15% of them were Rattata, so I didn't count those. Like I went 6 times over odds for just in Ghastly encounters, and then with Whooper, we got shinies in between, so it's not that I went 6 times over odds like total. It's that we saw statistically 6 times as many Whoopers as we would have needed to see. So I think, was it 48,000? Yeah. What's the chance of going sextuple over? That's a good question. I don't know if the binomial distribution calculator will calculate that. .2478, about 1 in 400. Not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it would be worse than that. Monkey. Do you think Pokemon Y is better than Pokemon Gold? I think it kind of depends on what you value. So, Pokemon X and Y have a lot of modern like conveniences and improvements. Pokemon Gold has a lot of flaws in I think things that are important in a Pokemon game. So for one, the scaling's bad. Second, the encounters are bad. Third, the gym leaders Pokemon are bad. Fourth thing, the end, like the post game gyms are just way too under leveled too. Like it's not even about scaling there. It's like why are they lower level than the Elite Four that I just fought? You know, it just makes no sense. It's like the opposite. It's like they scale. It's like reverse scaling. I think the only trainer or the only gym leader that has like definitively high enough level Pokemon to even be reasonable is Blue, and at that point your Pokemon are probably higher level than his anyways. If you're conservative with the trainers you fight and stuff. Whereas Y I think is a little bit more of a cohesive playthrough experience where you can actually get interesting Pokemon on your playthrough, whereas you like in Gold and Silver, like the encounter table throughout the whole game's not great. Not a ton of great options to use in a playthrough. Most of the new interesting Pokemon are like post game or like basically post game, like Skarmory, Ursaring. Macargo's not good, but like if you want to use him, you know, Houndour, Houndoom. So many Pokemon are locked behind post game. Misdreavus, Sneasel. All these Pokemon you can't really get into playthrough. It's like, oh, just use Gen 1 Pokemon or use like the very mid, like early game Gen 2 Pokemon that we gave you, and then there's like a couple options. So because of that, I would say that overall as like a video game experience, I think Pokemon X and Y are probably better. Which do I like more? Gold and Silver. But that's because I'm nostalgic. Those are my first official games that I got to play through, so. Monkey. We're not getting 10 monkey pleases today. Yeah, about that. If anybody in chat has not done their daily exclamation point monkey PLS, monkey please, you gotta do it, excuse me. It's the new cool thing. I haven't done my monkey please today. I'm gonna do my monkey please. Boom. What was the inspiration for it? I've seen some other streamers that have like a daily thing. They usually do it with like point redemptions. Like it's like 1 point and you get like a daily, you know, Like Sabian has haunts, so you get a daily haunts. Ours is a daily monkey, please. Actually, you know, very relevant to this hunt. Monkey, please. I would love shiny monkey, please. Right now. Trixie, what's up? Hey, gamer. What's going on? I'm gonna be doing resets for PANPOUR in black and white once I get sniped. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, like in black and white, you can get them at the beginning of the game. You can get them at the end of the game in black and white too, but I didn't want to go all the way through my game, and then I saw here it's only 10% for PANPOUR, so it's kind of stupid, but also I was like, I'm okay with phasing on all of these. Like, there's like 7 different Pokemon you can get, so I was like, I'm down with that. I want a Vespiquen. I want a Leavanny. I want a Lilligant. I want the other monkeys. I want an Audino. We have 4 now. Yay. I'm down with an Emolga. I'm alright with an Emolga. You know. Roserade? I want one. We got it. 68 on Snivy. Good luck. That's not one you really want to go over odds on. It's rough. Yeah. Double, that's an average of 70 hours to hit 8192, so. Hopefully you just get it. You get it real soon. No double over odds, no triple over odds, no quadruple over odds. Did 3,400 on white, then I bought black so I can double hunt. That probably costs a lot. Black and white are not cheap now. People are recognizing that the games are good and everyone wants them, so. Hopefully you got a good deal. Let's go, Amy. Monkey please moment. 160 AUD. Oh, you're in Australia too, so probably a little bit of a premium on that too, because it's lower supply there. And if you get it like imported, if you order it from somewhere, it's probably pretty expensive too. I don't think that's that bad though, relative to where it can be. Like a loose cart, 160 US. It's probably worse here in the US, yeah. Maybe because more demand relative to supply. From a secondhand game store here, yeah. Sounds like a decent deal. That way you know they're real, yeah. $113 USD, yeah, I think that was a really good deal. For sure. Hey, son. I don't like 2 yet, but white 2 costs 225. AUD. Yeah, I wasn't sure which costs more, but it makes sense that the second ones are, because I think they're slightly better games, so. Oh, and there's a lower supply of black and white too. They didn't sell as well. Pretty much none of the follow-up games ever do. Like I think usually the expectation is they'll sell about it's a third of the copies, maybe half to a third of the copies total. Inwheel Forest, nice. I like that in the original Black and White that you can only get Gen 5 Pokemon because it incentivizes people to be more interested in them. Because like I think so many people will like play a Pokemon game and they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go get the ones that are my favorites already, and it's like, you know, there's new Pokemon. Now listen, in my Scarlet and Violet playthrough, did I get a Garchomp to make the playthrough easy? Yes. Oh yeah, different forest. Yeah, different forest. Close though. I didn't like that as a kid, but now I love it. I think that's how pretty much everyone felt. The reception to Black and White was pretty bad. People were very negative about it. And it's because they weren't getting nostalgia baited, which is kind of wacky, goofy. But, like, people weren't thinking about that at the time. They were just like, where's my Charizard? You know, where's my Mewtwo? Where's my Gen 1? Mainly Gen 1. It's mainly the Gen 1 part. So, I think a lot of people saw that and were like, I don't want a new experience. I want to relive my childhood. Love the limited X when it first came out. Everything felt like a discovery. I think that they should just always do Pokemon games like that. I think that you should only have Pokemon native to that region. And, you know, some regional forms. And then post-game, like, let more Pokemon be in the area. Like, as soon as you beat the Elite Four or whatever, then all the Pokemon start spawning everywhere, and you get to go back through all the areas and see what Pokemon from previous games are there. That sounds fun. That sounds cool. I'm just saying. I was watching the anime, couldn't get Umbreon. There's another one, yeah. Umbreon and Espeon, Eevee in general. No Zubat line. I hated Woobat because it replaced Zubat for the region. Yeah, I think I'm not a huge fan of Woobat, but it has an incredible shine. I love Woobat shiny. It's wacky, goofy, great. But its design, I look at it and my knee-jerk reaction, yucky. But then I think about it for a little bit and I'm like, it's all right. But that shiny, I'm gonna hunt it just because I want that shiny. I want that shiny. I'm a Zubat enjoyer though. I like Zubat. I like Golbat. I like Crobat. Umbreon was my favorite as a kid. Still love it. Would classify as my favorite Pokemon. Okay. Hard to choose. Yeah. There's a lot. I'll get a Sparkly. I don't want to go 15 more minutes without a Sparkly. Get a Sparkly. Quick walk away while I get a Sparkly. I got a P2. Quick break. Quick pee break. I'll be back. Snipey first ever starter. Oh. Okay, I'll be right back. Bat enjoyer. Oh, I forgot water. I just peed. No water. Still playing video games? You got me. My DTQ for Pokemon White is going to be Superior, Sigilyph, Crocodile, Zebstrika, Chandelure, or Jellicent. Or Jellicent. Hey. That's a great selection. I gotta say. Hats off. Good selection. Hey, what's up, Cogs? Hey, gamer. Might do a few other hunts along the way. Haven't played White literally since 2013. Yeah. Okay. You can always just go back and do some too. Like, you can just beat the game and then just do hunts too. Tune in my shiny DTQ with Tepig, Ignite, and Roggenrola. Now we're going for Venipede. Okay. Okay. Good choices too. Never done a DTQ before. Me neither, and I never will. Never. Not that there's anything wrong with that. SPQ, easier not having a target. I don't do anything. I just play the game and then I just get the shinies I want to get. Turn the game on and then it's like, oh, starter, it's there. We're going to get it. And then I go to the first route and it's like, do I want to get something here? No. Next route. Do I want to get something here? No. Next route. Do I maybe want to come back for something here later? Maybe. Next route. Oh, I have to do the gym so I can go to the next town to check. All right, let me do it real quick. Next town. Based on my random shiny RNG, I should just go for all the normal types. Yeah, I don't think that would be too bad. Phase 6 for Doduo in Leaf Green Safari. Doduo? In Leaf Green? Oh, it's in like one area, isn't it? 2? Okay. Two zones? In Leaf Green? What? I don't see it in any of the zones. Am I silly? Is there another Safari Zone thing I'm not aware of? Where's Doduo? Oh, there it is. Oh, 26. I'm dumb. Ignore me. I am dumb. Ooh, you can repel trick it. You can 26 repel it. In the West Zone. You can make it 40%. It's 20%. Normally, you can double its percent with Repel Trick. It's also, wait, it's also in, oh, you can make it 65% in the East Zone. With a 3% pincer and then a 32% Nidorino. Nidorino. Only been able to catch eggs. 3 other phases poofed. Oof. I thought it was on 2 routes as well. Yeah, it's on multiple routes for sure. But if you want it in a safari ball, there's only one option. Well, 2 options, 2 safari areas. Yeah, you can get it to 65%. That's not bad. Yeah. I think so. I think so. I think Nest Ball would work too. Can you get Nest Ball in Pirate Leaf Green? It might not be in the game. If it was, I think it would fit pretty well. But Safari Ball fits pretty well too. So I'm not that dedicated, especially after Farfetch'd. I want something nice and easy. Yeah. That 65% Safari Zone might be the best option though. Let me see. Stevie. Ruby Sapphire. Fire Red. Come here, Encounter Calculator. What are we doing? Leaf Green. Route 16. $35%. Repel Trick? 18, 20, not really. 18, 20, 23, no. 22? No. Okay. So far it's better Safari Zone, but let's check the other routes. 17. Oh, it's a lot better on this route. Well, no, it's 35% still. And then 24 Repel. Gonna be slight improvement. 53% non-Safari Zone is better. So route 17 so far at 53% with the 65% encounter rate is better. Because of the flea chance. Compared to 65%. Flea chance is higher than 12%, so route 18 is also 53%. Wait, 17 and 18 are like the same. Yeah, they're both 53%. Is it the same thing you can phase on? 18. The things you can phase on change slightly. It doesn't really matter. Wow, yeah, 17 and 18 are better slightly than the Safari Zone with its flea chance. It has a pretty high catch chance, so it's not that much worse to do it in the Safari Zone if you're repel tricking in the West. I don't mind the flea chance. Safari is fun to me. Yeah. No, I think a lot of people feel that way. It's just Sloan just wants to get it though, you know. So Safari I don't think is important. So in that instance, Route 17, Repel Trick. I forget which level. It was like 22 or something, or 20. Or 18. 18 Repel, I think it was. I'd be hard. We're gonna be ran away. Yeah, I don't think it'd be worth it to do it Safari. It would be just more of a coin flip. Like, you would see one fast. Actually, with the encounters, I'm sorry. I wasn't accounting for encounter time. I think Doduo in the Safari Zone is faster because of the encounter time. It was actually pretty close, but I think it would pretty definitively would go to Route 17 or 18, but with the encounter time being about 33% better, It's actually faster in Safari Zone. Yeah. It would still be kind of close, but Safari would have a pretty definitive W, even with the flea chance. But I think you're still, if you just want a reliable, like, less of a chance of failing, of course, then at 17 is fine. It's not going to be that bad anyways. 17 is 50%, so you're going to be like 60 hours average. Whereas Safari, I think, would be like accounting for potential flea, probably like 45 hours. If I had to guesstimate, I could calc it out, but with the faster encounters, pretty comfortably in Safari's favor. But yeah, if you saw one and it ran, you immediately would be in a position where statistically, at least, it would take longer. If I'm only focused on hunting my switches, I can get 3k encounters per switch a day. Sounds about right for Safari. Yeah. With a couple instances. Yeah. $600 in Leaf Green already. Sheesh. Honestly, I have no idea how many hours I have, like, total in the game. We did Hitmonchan and we went crazy over odds for that. Do I have it here? Yes. Yeah, we went over triple on Hitmonchan. Over triple. That was 144 hours. And then Chansey, we're at 305 hours. And then we did Magikarp, and that was not bad. I think it was like, what was that? 7 hours. Yeah, that one was really fast. And we did Ghastly. That was 30 hours. Is that everything we done? Yeah. So I'm like about the same, maybe a little under. About there, though. 34,640 for Dratini and Fire Red. That's a lot. What? That's it? That's it? I'm gonna eat that meatloaf. Oh, Game Corner. Well, you know, of all the hunts to go 35,000, I think Game Corner is pretty ideal for those games. Pretty much a best case scenario in terms of the actual hunt. Still very daunting, but slightly more manageable. $33,669 hard gold for with no phases for me. That one's a little rougher. Random encounters not as fast as buying Pokemon, it turns out. Had to take breaks, yeah. Well, gamers, it's about that time. We've reached end of stream time. We're gonna raid somebody. There's an unusual amount of people here today. So we are gonna raid somebody. Who up raiding with a wretch right now? Don't forget to do your monkey, please, if you haven't. Exclamation point, monkey, DLS. You're supposed to do it once per day. 3560. Chloe. Gamers. Thank you guys for being here. Fun time today. Thank you for chatting, chilling, lurking, whatever you're doing. We'll be back tomorrow. We're doing Paris in Leaf Green. So we're gonna get it, and then we're gonna go back to Chansey. That's what's gonna happen. So Yeah. Yeah, I think that covers it. Let's do one more encounter. Last one. Actual last one. Later, Cox. Have a good one. Wookie, please. I actually, the raid is going to expire. Okay, have a good night, gamers. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.